Hey, American contractors, viewers of the American Contractor Show. I'm here with John Dye at Win the Storm, and I have to tell you, anyone that is associated with American Contractor Show, you are a badass.
Big shout out to American Contractor Show. If you don't know, you definitely need to check out the Storm Summit. They're doing it in excellence. Check them out.
Hey, what's up? This is your friend, Francisco Serrano. If you haven't checked it out, American Contractor Show, YouTube channel, Facebook channel, Twitter, Instagram, all the platforms, you need to go them, like them, start learning about your craft.
Hey, I'm Matt Danskin with Restoration Referral System. Check out the American Contractor Show. The truck that they've got is awesome. Everything else that they have going on.
This is Larry Bache with the Northern Law Group, helping policyholders for more than 30 years. If you have a claim or your client has a claim that needs help, please feel free to call the Northern Law Group because we are the true policyholder advocate.
What's up, everyone? Lead meteorologist John Choquette here for our daily forecast. We got a ton to talk about today, so we're going to jump right into it. Thanks again to our sponsors. You guys know the drill. Merlin Law Group, American Contractor Show, and C3 Group. You'll see their little banner ad here coming up. But let's just talk about what we're going to be seeing for today. We could have some hail here in Oklahoma City. The first real risk in Oklahoma for 2022 is happening this afternoon into this evening. We're also going to recap some of the storms that happened yesterday, and we're going to keep that train rolling. We're going to see some storms on Friday as well. All modes of severe weather are possible in the southeast. And then we're going to look ahead to next week where we could have our first real major storm system pushing through. So we're going to break down by day what we're expecting. A little reminder too that we will start naming the storm system. This might end up being Storm System Andrea going into the start of the next work week. So we got a couple events to go over. Andrea is actually going to be presenting the 2022 hail forecast, the National Weatherman and Roofing event on Wednesday. So come check that out if you haven't seen it, or you just want to come see Andrea and have a good time. It's going to be on March 23rd, 11:30 a.m. Hopefully she's not going to be too tired. She's on call next week, so it could be a little rough. We also have the Orca Mini Roundup. That's going to be on the 29th. Come check us out, Central Home Builders. It's going to be in Oklahoma City. Free event to attend. It's going to be great. All kinds of great stuff going on. Free lunch, as always. Come check out our Orca event if you're here local to Oklahoma City. So we're going to talk about what happened yesterday. It was not March 7th yesterday. I forgot to change that, but on March 16th here, we had quite a bit of hail in the general Orlando area. So north of Orlando itself, we had up to some 2-inch hail. We also had some hail in New Smyrna Beach. We also had a storm that was weirdly not severe warned, but was quite impactful in Augusta, Georgia, along with a couple other storms scattered about here in sections of Georgia and South Carolina. So with that, we made a couple solid maps here. We had a 4-star map. Check this guy out. That's crazy for seeing so much of our red swath here in Florida. So this is a bunch of words, but basically the Orlando area and all of Florida that had storms yesterday. Went up to 2-inch hail in the Lake Mary area, and we had about 49,000 homes impacted. And I did see a couple photos of some metal roofs really dinged up, and even a back window blown out from this hail. So it was a pretty intense storm here for Florida, and that's why it's a 4-star map for us here at HailTrace. You can check that on the site. We also had a 3-star map in the Augusta, Georgia area. Again, this storm just kind of eased to the north, hit a good chunk of town, large quantities of $1 to $half size hail, and up to that golf ball size hail as well in Augusta, and includes everything else that happened in Georgia, Riddleville, and Round Oak. That golf ball size hail was the maximum size, about 35, almost 36,000 homes impacted with this. Big thing to note, Augusta hasn't really been impacted with hail very frequently, or even in the last handful of years, so it could be a lot old roofs that were hit with this one. So you can always, again, check this out on our website. So that's enough from yesterday. We're going to jump into right now, and what's happening here on the St. Patrick's Day. Well, a little bit of green on the map up in Nebraska and Iowa, but we're going to Down here in Oklahoma, and I've actually put in a low pressure center. This is going to be the trigger for storms today. Not too much with it at the moment, but as we get into this afternoon, we're going to see this system ease off to the east, and that's going to trigger some severe weather here in Oklahoma, possibly into North Texas, and then into Arkansas and Louisiana overnight tonight, and that'll continue into your Friday. Temperatures across the country right now, again, it's warm for the area where storms are going to happen. 71 in Dallas, same thing here in Oklahoma City. And the instability, so we're talking about moisture in the air, it's going to be one of those, I call it the just-in-time events. We have the moisture beginning to return right now across the southern plains. So you have that low pressure center here pretty much right in the Texas Panhandle, like I just mentioned. And that's pulling in the warm Gulf moisture off of the Gulf of Mexico, where you have that 65-degree dew point, 57-degree dew point right along the Gulf Coast. 51 in Dallas, 41 in Oklahoma City, but by the time storms happen this evening, we're going to be much closer into the 50s, which will be just enough for some severe hail. Not so much for the tornado threat, but I think severe hail and gusty winds are going to be pretty prevalent with any storms that form today. So with that, we were talking about the instability. With that, you get that potential energy, the energy needed for big time storms. By about 4:30, everything has surged north, and you're starting to get a lot more instability available across Oklahoma, especially here in the I-35 corridor. By 7 o'clock, storms have already started to fire, so you're seeing the instability start to get eaten away here, so that potential energy turning kinetic energy, which is a storm happening. And then as we push through the evening, notice there's a lot of potential energy here for Dallas at about 10 o'clock, but it looks like the cap is going to be in place. So basically that means that storms aren't really going to be able to form too much. So if something manages to sneak by the cap, yeah, it could see some big time storms in Dallas, but it's looking pretty likely that you're not going to see too much in Dallas today. And then as we push off to the east, overnight hours tonight, yeah, it's going to be a loud one for Louisiana into Arkansas and possibly into Mississippi by daybreak, with everything shifting off to the east for your Friday. So you got that potential energy, you got the instability. What does that look like for future radar? The most recent run here that I'm probably going to see for the first time right now, as of 6 o'clock, a couple storms are going to fire off in southwest Oklahoma near the I-40 corridor and I-44 corridors. We get closer, a little past dinner time here, about 8 o'clock this evening. Notice a couple storms all over from about Clinton and Weatherford down to about the Ardmore area. Storms about 8 o'clock around Oklahoma City, and these could have some pretty big hail with them. And then as we push forward to about 10 o'clock, the storms move off to the east, closer to Tulsa, where I think the hail risk will go down significantly, and even some potential for some storms to form here in Canadian County by El Reno, and then moving eastward, possibly through Oklahoma again in the late night hours here across central Oklahoma. But notice, I didn't talk about Dallas in this run. The models have been very consistent with absolutely nothing here for the Metroplex. Best case scenario, you get something in Denton County, but I think overall we're probably going to stay pretty dry across the Dallas Metroplex for this storm system. Pushing ahead to later on this evening across sections of Louisiana and far eastern Texas and Arkansas, by about 10:30, I sped up all the way here to when storms are happening. Look at all these little supercells and mixed mode of storms happening near the evening hours in Shreveport, all the way down to near the Beaumont area. We could see some storms that, excuse me, have some severe hail with them, gusty winds, and possibly even some tornadoes. As we move into the late night tonight, all that moisture continues to stream out of the Gulf, giving ample opportunity for potential for some tornadoes as well, gusty winds, hail across from Alexandria all the way up into Arkansas. And then by the time we get near daybreak, these storms are going to be moving towards the New Orleans area, where we could see some very late night, very early morning tornadic and gusty wind activity in the New Orleans metro, so be keeping an eye on that. Possibly a late night again tonight for some folks here at HailTrace. And that's what we're expecting. We'll go into Friday after we talk about the actual hail forecast for today. So maximum hail size I'm expecting, possibly up to tennis ball size hail. So that's a maximum hail of any of the storms that happen today, not necessarily in a city. I think we could see some tennis balls. It's definitely going to be prolific hailers today. It's early enough in the year. It's very cool up in the upper levels of the atmosphere, and that's going to promote a lot of hail growth. And pushing to the actual hail forecast today is sponsored by C3 Group. We have that area in the red here. That's your best chance for that golf ball, that tennis ball size hail. We have 2 different areas where you could see up to that golf ball size hail. We're going to start by zeroing in on the I-35 corridor, where I have a moderate chance for storms here in Oklahoma City. That best chance, I think, is going to be south of I-40. Places like Moore and Norman. Yeah, I know folks in Norman are like, oh Christ. But there is that potential. You could see up to some maybe 2-inch hail. Ardmore and other areas, probably just west, like Chickasha, down to Ardmore, down to Marietta, so even far east of Shawnee. That's the general region where you could see up to that tennis ball size hail, again, anywhere within this red. Any isolated storms got that best chance. I do bring the potential for golf balls all the way down to Denton, but I think those chances are going to be very low, as it's going to be a boom or bust scenario. If anything can break the cap, you could see some big hail, but I'm really thinking a very low-end chance for the Dallas Metroplex with each subsequent model. Moving to the south and east now to Louisiana, have a low chance in Shreveport. I think there's going to be a lot of storms like you saw just a moment ago. So that's going to possibly have too much interference for big time hail. But there is still a chance, and any storms that can stay isolated up all by themselves for more than a few minutes can get up to that golf ball size hail. I think Alexandria has the best chance of seeing any bigger hail with any of the storms in the overnight hours tonight. So I got that moderate chance. And finally, New Orleans, this is going to be pretty much a daybreak tomorrow. Any storms, again, that are isolated, you could see up to some $1 to $half size hail with that. So breaking it down by city, we're going to start with Oklahoma City here. 6 to 9 p.m. is the expected time frame for when storms are going to happen. And again, the main focus, I really think, is going to be south of I-40. So areas south OKC, Yukon, Mustang, Moore, Norman, all at risk, and that's going to be your best chance for that 2-inch hail possible. I think that's going to be your max size for Oklahoma City. I think overall it could be a large volume of hail event, so coating the ground almost like snow, so it'd be a ton of quarter size hail, possibly a ton of ping pong ball size hail with that up to golf ball size to 2-inch hail with it. So I got that moderate chance that we see it in Oklahoma City. Now I'm not even saying the metro. I think Oklahoma City proper has a moderate chance of seeing up to some quarters today, and then a low chance of that bigger hail with it. Again, that best chance being down closer to Norman. I also have a city forecast here for Dallas. It's going to be around the same time frame, about 5 to 8 p.m., but notice overall a low chance across the board. I think a boom or bust scenario. Honestly, the only reason I have this in here is Dallas is a passed and decided, nah, actually we're going to break the cap. So I don't really see it happening too much today. I'm keeping the hail sizes pretty limited to up to ping pong ball size hail for Dallas. So there's also a risk for wind and tornadoes. I got 2 separate areas here. First of which here in central Oklahoma and North Texas, any of these storms that do have hail could have some pretty gusty winds with them. With that, tornado chances very low. I would be shocked to see a real tornado today. If this was a month later, we had a little bit more moisture to work with, yeah, there'd probably be a pretty solid tornado outbreak in central Oklahoma today, but that is not the case. So low chances across the board, just gusty winds up to 65 miles an hour. But there is a tornado chance, again, the overnight hours to near daybreak across southeastern sections of Louisiana, especially the New Orleans area. I think I got a moderate chance, and that's going to be after 4 a.m. So it's going to be a very late night, early morning situation here with any tornado potential across New Orleans. So this all obviously transitions east further for your day on Friday. Excuse me, guys, I'm still getting over my cold here. So I stopped at about noon on Friday. So we're going to have a lot of storms in the morning. I think after things kind of move off the New Orleans, it's going to be a lot of sub-severe just thunder showers. But by the time we get to about noon, notice how everything has kind of isolated out a little bit, get more individual storms. That has a much better chance for some hail, especially south of Montgomery, Alabama here, where I have the clock stopped at 3 o'clock. Notice this little cluster of storms have been showing up quite a bit on the models here. It could be some significant hail with that near the Alabama-Florida border, possibly up to Montgomery. And there's even a chance a couple more isolated storms may happen in sections of central and northern Alabama. But overall, I think that main focus is going to be a little bit further to the south. And we push forward here. Let's see, stopping at 4 o'clock. It has some storms near Montgomery. And then pushing even further, this stuff continues into southwestern Georgia into the evening hours. By overnight, notice everything kind of dies off. And it should set up for a much quieter weekend overall. But that's not the only area we're looking at. We're looking a little further north as well, right near the center of low pressure where everything kind of curves together here by I-44. This is going to push off to the north and east in the morning, and then with that trigger some more storms as well. Notice by 2:30 got some storms in south of St. Louis here in Missouri, and possibly all the way down to where the Mississippi and Ohio rivers meet. Zooming in a little bit more to generally into Kentucky and parts of southern Indiana. Notice by 7 o'clock, the dinner time hour, we got some isolated storms here to the west of Louisville, and moving generally in that direction as we go through the evening hours. They should weaken once the sun goes down, but there is going to be a window there where you could see some severe hail in the Ohio River Valley, and then this will wind down pretty quick again. Once the sun goes down, things will really start to calm down quite a bit for your Friday. So with that, we're going to have two different areas for our hail forecast on your Friday. The more significant of which I think is going to be to the south, but starting up here from Louisville to Cape Girardeau, so places like Owensville and Evansville, all at risk here. Or is it Owensboro? I don't remember. Owensboro, yeah, and Andrea is the Kentucky native. So, and possibly all the way to Cincinnati here, all a chance of $quarter to $half size hail. I have a low chance right now. This is subject to change with a forecast update tomorrow. It's also subject that we could combine these two swaths. I know the Storm Prediction Center has it all as one mega swath. I'm kind of focusing on where I think the most likely chance for hail is going to be, but it is subject to change to include Birmingham and Nashville, but right now I'm not really seeing too much hail risk there. I have a moderate chance for Montgomery here, and again, anywhere in this orange, that cluster of storms that keep showing up on the models could be your most significant with up to some golf ball size hail. Low chance for Mobile, low chance for Tallahassee. I think it's going to be somewhere in the middle in between these two areas for your big hail for your Friday. So beyond Friday, we do have some other risks to talk about here, and it's going to be much more significant storm system. A multi-day event is possible. There is a chance for some severe weather on Saturday. It's looking kind of benign. Sunday is going to be quiet, but then we push forward. It's going to look much more exciting to start next week, that last full week of March. So this is the storm system right now. By Friday morning, that's what's going to trigger this severe weather across sections southeast. Notice you have the digging cold air pushing all of that moist air off to the east. So that's going to push by, and then this weekend, basically things kind of reset, right? But notice you have a much deeper trough kicking in. This is about noon on Sunday, and that's going to be our next severe storm system. And look at this on Monday. As a weather nerd, this is a very exciting setup. You have a negatively tilted system, so basically that means you have a positively tilted system. It usually means squall lines. Negatively tilted system means you have a better chance for supercells, and this is setting up right for that I-35 corridor. With how deep this thing is getting down into New Mexico, it looks like Texas has a much better chance for possibly a very significant severe weather event on Monday, and this pushes east on Tuesday to set up for possibly a significant severe weather event. So this is large hail, very large hail, tornadoes, possibly some long track strong tornadoes if everything pans out right, and gusty winds. This extends into the southeast on Tuesday, and then by Wednesday it gets a little bit further closer to the Atlanta area. So we have 3 days in a row of potentially significant severe weather for this last full week of March. Can't believe it's already the last week of March. So this is what we're thinking overall. So this is Monday here. I'm including basically from the Red River all the way down to south of San Antonio areas specifically that seem a little bit more significant looking right now is going down about Austin, Texas. So that I-35 corridor from Dallas, Texas to Austin, Texas looks like the most significant within the risk area for your Monday. It's also very possible this extends into Oklahoma. There's still quite a bit of time for things to change. Just little tweaks in where the storm system is going to set up will determine whether or not it gets up into Oklahoma and possibly Kansas, or it stays where it's at, or even get a little further south. So, but right now, I think I'm most confident from Dallas to Austin for possibly some very large hail and tornadoes on your Monday. This pushes east on Tuesday to be could be a Dixie Alley special tornado outbreak here from Memphis down to about Beaumont, east to around the Mobile area. So Mississippi, you guys are no stranger to this time of year. It's going to be the first bigger event, and then this pushes east on Wednesday to include Georgia, southeastern sections of Alabama, and the Florida Panhandle. So with this a multi-day event from one storm system expected that could have pretty big risks, this is a time to remind that we are going to start naming these things. So instead of this, so say we have a bunch of big-time hailstorms next week or a big tornado outbreak, instead of just saying the date, we want to put a name to the storm, right? So we are doing the potential for multiple consecutive significant weather days, which is what we're kind of already looking to see here. We're going to do it for a possibility of multiple 3-star maps or more, or a tornado outbreak, which is also what it's kind of looking more and more likely with each pretty much model run we're seeing here for next week. And the low end risk, not so much. So like what happened in Florida is not going to be named. And we'll retire, if it's a really big time storm, we'll retire the storm system name. So we're limiting ourselves to 72 hours or less from a storm event happening. So we're not going to name it today. It's very possible that we will pull the trigger and say that we'll name the first system, which will be Andrea. Again, there's a bunch of names on here that are based off of people here in the office. So Andrea gets the honor of possibly being the first storm system, and it's very likely that that's what we'll be referring to everything next week, starting from that Monday through Wednesday time frame. So a lot to talk about here. I'm sure if you missed some stuff, you need more details, we do post the forecast graphics and some of the more highlight forecast graphics that we have in the video on our Facebook and Instagram stories, and as individual posts that are written posts on our Facebook. So make sure you follow us on HailTrace. I think they post on Twitter too, right, Andrea? Yeah, Twitter? Yes. Yeah, I'll put them on Twitter as well. Follow our YouTube, follow our TikTok. It's all easy to find at HailTrace, our LinkedIn as well. And you have any other comments, questions, or concerns, you put it in the comments section below, or you can give us a call at 855-334-4245. Someone will be happy to help you out. You want to find out more details about the storms in Florida, you need to get ready for possibly severe weather next week, severe weather today even, give us a call. We'll get you set up and ready to go. Email us as well, info@hailtrace.com, or visit our website at hailtrace.com as well. You can message us right in the bottom right-hand corner of our website, and you'll talk to someone directly to figure out whatever it is you need. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I know I word vomited a ton of stuff at you, but it's exciting. It's storm season. Spring has sprung. So we're excited to see more. Maybe we'll do some live coverage today. Fingers crossed for Oklahoma City. If not, we'll see you tomorrow, 12 p.m.